Gout Gout. His name was everywhere, a new world record. A teenager chasing Bolt's shadow, now he stood on a track in Norway, lining up against the man he had watched on TV since he was a little kid, Letsile Tebogo, Olympic champion. One of them was about to learn a very hard lesson. Let's find out what happened. On April 12, 2026, at the Australian Championships in Sydney, Gout Gout did something no Australian sprinter had ever done before. He ran the 200 meters in 19.67 seconds. That time broke the world under-20 record of 19.69 seconds, which had been set by American sprinter Erriyon Knighton back in 2022. It also beat the fastest time Usain Bolt ever ran as a teenager, which was 19.93 seconds. A few weeks later, World Athletics made it official. The time was ratified as the new world under-20 record. Gout Gout, at 18 years old, was now sitting in the record books next to names like Bolt and Knighton. That same run also placed him 16th on the outdoor 200-meter all-time list, a list otherwise made up of senior professional sprinters in their 20s. But there was a catch nobody could ignore. Every one of those fast times had come against other young runners at Australian Championships and junior meets. Gout had stepped onto a real Diamond League track only once before, in an under-23 race in Monaco the year before, which he won. He had never lined up in a full Diamond League final against the best senior sprinters alive. Australian and global media had spent weeks building toward this next step, wondering not just whether Gout could compete with the best in the world, but whether he might beat them. That test was waiting in Oslo, Norway. Waiting for him at the Bislett Games was Letsile Tebogo, 23 years old, from Botswana. 2 years earlier, at the Paris Olympics, Tebogo had won the 200-meter gold medal in 19.46 seconds. That run made him the 5th fastest man in history over that distance, and the first person from Botswana to win an Olympic gold medal in any sport. Tebogo had been breaking under-20 records himself, years earlier. Back in 2022, he set the world under-20 record in the 100 meters, running 9.91 seconds at the World Under-20 Championships in Cali, Colombia. His climb to the senior ranks took time after that. A year later, he won silver in the 100 meters and bronze in the 200 meters at the 2023 World Championships in Budapest. Olympic gold in Paris followed the year after that. For Gout, this was not just another competitor in the field. Before the race, he said Tebogo had been his hero since he first started running. "When I started doing track and field, it was this guy, Tebogo," Gout said with a smile, sitting next to the Botswanan at a press event. He went further, saying the two of them were alike in some ways. "He's from Botswana and I am from Australia. We are not from sprinting nations. We are definitely building a legacy for ourselves." Gout said the two had actually raced each other once before. The previous September, at the World Championships in Tokyo, both men lined up in the same 200-meter semifinal. Tebogo finished second in 19.95 seconds. Gout finished fourth in 20.36 seconds and did not make the final. Now, in Oslo, they would share a track again. This time, it counted as a real Diamond League final, and the whole world wanted to see how Gout's new world record would hold up. The Bislett Games took place on June 10, 2026, at Bislett Stadium in Oslo, Norway. This track has history. Back in 2013, Usain Bolt ran 19.79 seconds here, a meeting record that still stands today. Some experts wondered if Tebogo and Gout together might push each other close to that mark. When the gun fired, Tebogo got out fast and never let up. He had spent the days before the race practicing how to run the bend in wet conditions, and it showed. Gout, on the other hand, struggled out of the blocks. He could not find his usual rhythm in the first half of the race, and once the field had moved clear of him, he could not close the gap. Tebogo crossed the line first in 19.84 seconds, more than a tenth of a second faster than his season's best of 19.96 seconds, which he had run in Rabat a few weeks earlier. South Africa's Sinesifo Dambile finished second in 20.12 seconds. Jareem Richards of Trinidad and Tobago was third in 20.50 seconds. Cuba's Rainier Mena was fourth in 20.53 seconds. And Switzerland's Timothy Mumenthaler was fifth in 20.58 seconds. And Gout Gout finished sixth in 20.60 seconds. The wind reading was a fair plus 0.2 meters per second, the same conditions for every runner in the race. That time is nearly a full second slower than the 19.67 seconds he had run in Sydney just 2 months before. After the race, Gout was honest about how it felt. "Definitely not what I imagined," he said. "I imagined victory myself, but definitely can't be disappointed. It's my first Diamond League, so I'm going out here, having a bit of fun and then getting back to training." So what actually happened out there? In junior racing, Gout's top-end speed had always been enough on its own. He could start a little slow and still run down the field over the final 50 meters, because nobody his age could match his closing speed. That late surge was his trademark move, the moment that made him famous. But in Oslo, every single man in that race had already run under 20.9 seconds this year. Every one of them knew how to close out a 200 meters at full speed. A slow start against a field like that does not leave room for a famous late charge, because there is no gap left to close. In Sydney, Gout had been level with the leader at the final 30 meters before pulling away to set his world record, that same late surge doing the work. In Oslo, by the final 30 meters, the race for the podium was already settled, and that move never got the chance to happen. Several of the men who beat him to the line that night had been racing at Diamond League level for years before Gout Gout ever lined up in a senior international race. This is the part a stopwatch cannot show. Running fast against other 18-year-olds and running fast against Olympic medalists are two very different tests. One is about raw speed, the other is about starts, timing, and not making a single mistake against people who have been racing at this level for years. After the race, Tebogo wanted to speak with Gout directly. He could not. "After the race, I wanted to talk to Gout Gout, but he is so busy with all the media," Tebogo said. Instead, Tebogo shared his thoughts with reporters. His advice was simple and direct. First and foremost, he should not get comfortable racing with the seniors. "He still has a long way to go," Tebogo said. "He should by all means play with his age mates where he is a bit more comfortable, because the more he runs, the more he pushes, and the more injuries he is going to get. I hope his management, the coaches, and everybody around him will advise that, because that is what worked for me." This was not a senior athlete putting down a young rival. Tebogo knows this path because he walked it himself, working his way from world under-20 champion to Olympic gold medalist over several years. Not overnight. He has watched other young runners try to skip ahead too quickly. "I have seen a lot of people my age racing with seniors, and it did not go well for them," he said. Oslo tested Gout Gout's hype, and the result was a number, not an excuse.